Greetings and salutations, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well today. Today I have a very different upload than I normally do. Before we get into it, a couple links. As you know, I rely on Patreon, PayPal, and my merch to help the channel to continue to grow and go. The links to Patreon and PayPal are in the description below, my merch displayed directly under the video. Also, Dogman, Frightening Encounters, Volume 1 through 3, the audiobook versions. They were written and researched by Tom Lyons, narrated and produced by me, Jeffrey Nadolny. Those audiobooks are available on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes, the links to which are also in the description as well. And finally, last but definitely not least, if you'd really like to help support this channel to continue to grow and go, simply subscribe, click the like button, and please leave a comment. It really does help, and guys, it definitely matters. Now, everyone, I have taken far too much of your time. Let's get on with today's upload. Shall we? Brief little explanation before we get into today's upload. I've been working on a kind of another, last year I did a kind of like a little documentary on the disappearance of Tom Messick. I have been going up there and looking around. I went up there this evening and strolled around for a little bit. I didn't go on the trail that I had the really weird experience or strange feelings, excuse me. I went on the one where the park ranger had stopped me and said, "Hey, what are you doing?" Yeah, so I did that right around dusk until about the moon started coming out. And then on my way home, it's about 35 minutes home, I went to a quick stop at Lowe's. My daughter and I are doing a Christmas village, I think it's called. I don't know. And I like Christmas. I like all holidays. Kind of getting off topic, but growing up, I had a great family. My mom and dad were awesome. They were good providers, loved me. But we didn't celebrate holidays, and we're not Jehovah's Witnesses. They just didn't like holidays. I remember my Christmas consisted of a card table with a ceramic tree. And so when I had the girls, I said, no matter what, all holidays will be celebrated to the best of my ability. And so that's why we're doing a little village. I think next year we're looking into doing like a Halloween village. I don't know. It's like I'm Martha Stewart now. I'm Marty Stewart. Anyway, so on the way home, I hit Lowe's quick, and then I swing into the haunted / Dogman cemetery where my oldest daughter and her friends had an experience there. Pitch black, and it was it was interesting. I don't know if anything was there watching me, but it was pretty creepy being around the mausoleum and stuff like that. I didn't spend too much time. I just wanted to go there and just walk around. I think the worst part of the evening was getting into the shower and finding 4 ticks on my leg or legs. And I absolutely despise ticks. I think they're the most vile insect ever. Thank God they didn't attach too much. I don't know why people say they don't hurt when you pull them off, because there's a pain there. But anyway, I just wanted to kind of give you a little explanation. So you'll have the area where Tom Messick disappeared, dusk, the haunted Dogman cemetery night, and then I'll narrate a couple of encounters. So thanks for all the support. I really appreciate it. I cannot express how much I do. So let's get into it. All right, everyone. It's about 6 p.m. and I am in Forkin, New York. I'm on that same trail that I saw the park rangers on that evening, or that day. This is evening right here. Wow. Totally different atmosphere here. I just wanted to check it out. I've really never been out here at night, so I figured, what the heck, let's check it out. And it's getting dark now. Not too dark, but it's getting there. It's still warm out though. It's still about like 60, 65 degrees, I'd say. Beautiful, beautiful night. I don't know, here I'll do a panorama. It's starting to get dark. So, ooh, this is creepy. Anyway, I'm gonna turn the camera around so you guys can see what I'm seeing. All right. So, it's a lot brighter on the camera than it is in what I'm looking at. I mean, here, it looks a lot brighter for some reason. But anyway, this is that area where a couple people said they had seen something by the bent trees. Still got a creepy feeling though. But maybe that's because it's getting dark. Beautiful night. I can't believe how gorgeous it is right now. Got a lot of broken trees in the woods. A lot of trees that aren't broken. But this is the location that I thought looked kind of weird last time. That triangular shaped kind of A-frame thing. I'm not sure. It could be nothing. Could be something. It's creepy as hell though, being out here this dark. It's kind of fun. So we're coming up on that time. Tom Messick disappeared on the 15th. I mean, look at that. I know that possibly could be normal or natural, but to me, I don't know. Maybe I'm reading into things. Probably. A lot of people say I do. But yeah, so it's been 7 years this year since Tom disappeared. I want to know what that metallic sound is that everyone, or not everyone, but the people that were with him heard. Dead silent out here. Dead silent. not a friggin' sound. Yeah, so I want to know what that sound was, or could have been. I mean, look at these trees. That's natural. That's definitely natural out there. I think it's starting to sprinkle a little. Oh, what's that? What the hell is that? So, I guess I could share an encounter. What the hell is that? So, one of my favorite encounters not favorite, but I guess an encounter that sticks with me a lot is sorry guys. I just heard some sort of something out there. I guess an encounter that really sticks with me is the mom. There's a mom park ranger. I hear it UTV. Sounds a little late for them to be out here though. Where the hell is he? Nothing that way. There's the moon. I don't know if you guys can see it. Right in there. So this mom was, can you see the moon, guys? So this mom was with her kids and she drives into she lives in the country and she drives into her home where she lives. And what the fuck was that? And she gets this weird feeling, and then she sees this large bipedal creature off to the side. There's one of those tags where they placed these tags when they were looking for Tom. So she sees this large bipedal creature and she sits in her car for a few minutes and she decides to look at the moon. I don't know if you guys can see it. She sits in her car and decides to wait, to see what this thing's doing. Well, she gets all sketched out because there's a large bipedal creature in her yard and she's got 2 kids with her in her car that she's got to get out of. So she then sits there for a few minutes, weighs out everything, and grabs the first kid, leaves the second one in the car. And then it's getting dark now. And then as she's going to her doorstep, she can hear this creature say like something to her. And she can't really make it out, but she can hear it. There's the moon, guys. There it is. So no one can say I'm not out here at night. So she hears the creature say something. She unlocks the door, gets the first kid in, and as she's getting the second kid, she runs out and gets the second kid, and she hears it again. And it said something like, you aren't safe, or something like that. And she quick shuts the door. The creature is still in the same location as it was when she pulled in that home. And so she's seeing it from right where she had when she pulled in. It hadn't moved. It hadn't done anything, but she can hear it. She cannot figure out what it said the first time she heard it, but the second time she did. She clearly could hear it, and she didn't know mentally if it was in her head or in her ears. There's the moon. Man, I love the moon. I love the moon when I'm out in the woods because it's a source of light. But so she really can't make out what this sound was, or the first thing. But she heard safe. She doesn't tell anyone about it. She doesn't see anything again. But was that telepathically communicating? Was that Dogman telepathically communicating with her? She doesn't know. She doesn't know. Will she ever know? Nope, because she's never seen it again, ever. I'm gonna get the heck out of here because there's something in these woods behind here, right that way. And on my way home, in about a half an hour, I'm gonna stop at that cemetery where my kid saw the Dogman. So real quick, as I walk out, we'll turn the camera around. There's the moon. No one can say, whoa. Yep, I'm out of here. No one can say I wasn't out here in the woods at night. So, all right, guys, I'm just gonna turn the camera off and haul ass out of here. I'm a little freaked out. Jesus, it's dark now. Next time I talk to you, we'll be in the cemetery by my house. Tom, I'll be back. Hopefully we can find some sort of something to prove what happened to you, my friend. All right, guys, like I said, I'm coming to the cemetery. Some kind of noise up above that hill, but I'm not reading into anything. I hope you guys can see me here. I can see myself on the screen. Fireworks from somewhere, but I'm gonna turn the camera around and check the area out where my daughter and her friends saw the Dogman that night. All right, guys, so as you can see, I'm in the cemetery right now. So the kids were back over here. The pond stream's right there. Pond is right here. There's the mausoleums. The kids were sitting. Ooh, that's creepy, right? Huh? A little creepy. Told my daughter, my youngest daughter, that I wouldn't be here too long. So, but the kids were sitting right here in this location, and across the way is where they heard the noise. Now, just being here, like sitting here, a lot of these gravestones have these little lights on them, which is creepy. I want to turn the light off real quick so you guys can see just how dark it is. Hang on. There you go. That's what the moon looks like tonight, guys. There's the mausoleums. All right, so let me turn the lights on a little brighter. And so yeah, this is, car just went through the cemetery on the backside. Probably a cop, probably gonna get in trouble. But yeah, so there's the pond. The kids were sitting back there. And over on this side was where they saw the Dogman. That's the pathway that goes up through the pond. Let's check it out. There's a pond on one side, stream on the other. So anyway, I guess I've talked about the new the new logo for the channel, and I haven't revealed it yet. It's because I'm super busy and haven't had time. So I think tomorrow I'm gonna take the time and do it. I'm gonna work extra hard this coming week to get you guys some really good videos. I want to get ooh, that's creepy, right? And then look up there. There's a hill right there, and that's where the rest of the cemetery goes. And then out through here is all woods. Here, I'll show you. But see, there's a headstone right there, and then just woods. So anyway, I want to get you guys some good uploads this week. I got a couple interviews to do, and yeah, I just want to get the best quality stuff to you guys. I know this is kind of a weird one, but when I get home, I'll record a couple encounters on the tail end of this, so you guys can have something to listen to besides me just BSing as I walk through a supposed haunted cemetery where a Dogman resides. Here, you want to see something creepy? Check this out. That's the moon. That's how dark it is all around me. Those are headstones over there. Whoa, what was that? Okay. Friggin' wind. I mean, these headstones that are lit up are creepy as all can be. So, there's a cop on the main road. You can hear him, or an ambulance. Just absolutely gorgeous night out though. Doesn't even feel like fall. Doesn't even feel like November, to be honest with you. So, but anyway, I wanted to come to the cemetery because at night, just to see, you know, I guess I wish I had more time, but my daughter's been home by herself for a while today. Well, I took the ride up to Brant Lake, and I'm putting together another kind of documentary on Tom again, and I'll put it out on the 15th, which is my daughter's birthday. But yeah, so anyway, I'm gonna talk to you guys till I get to my car, and then I will shut the, man, it's so weird, these freaking, these gravestones with lights on them. It's just creepy. Alright guys, I'm in my car. I'm gonna unlock it. But let's do one more kind of roundabout. Creepy moon. Beautiful cemetery. Pond. Just doesn't get any more serene. Today's first encounter is an encounter that I've narrated on this channel before, but it is a very heartbreaking encounter, I guess. We do know that on occasion people have lost their lives to dogmen and Bigfoot attacks. And I've actually shared a subscriber who had shared with us his wife's passing. She took her own life after having a dogman encounter. Well, this is along that line, and it is it's very sad, but it's one that I think people really need to hear. That way they know, or they can possibly use channels like mine or Facebook posts or whatever they're called. I don't know. I'm not really pro them, but groups to reach out and ask for help. So let's get into this encounter. This happened when I was about 7 years old to my uncle. He's no longer with us, and I'd like to share his experience. Growing up, I lived in northern Michigan on 5,000 acres of farm ranch land that backed up into state land. Nothing but miles of forests and pasture as far as the eye could see. Needless to say, it made us pretty tough, and it took a lot to spook us. We are all avid hunters, fishermen, and outdoorsmen. Being the only girl, I was raised as a tomboy, and I'm just the same. My uncle went off and joined the military. He became a senior NCO in a prominent Special Force division of the United States Navy. 6'4", built like a wrestler, obviously skilled in survival tactics, and nothing can rattle him. He was home on leave and went out hunting, as it was deer season. I remember him coming in the house shaking and crying, saying he saw something in the woods. My uncle never cried. He was tough as nails and would tear someone to shreds before he let them make him cry. My grandmother tried to get him to make sense, but he kept saying he saw Bigfoot mixed with a wolf. My grandmother immediately got my granddad and rounded up the rest of the boys hunting. My dad and a few male cousins and my uncle, who was still terrified but went because he didn't want to be labeled as a chicken, got their shotguns and ammunition and saddled the horses to go clear the woods. Apparently, they were aware of Dogman, but I was blissfully young and ignorant. They told me to stay inside, and for no reason was I to step outside of our house until they returned. I had never heard my dad or grandfather so serious. I hid in my room. Sunset came and they were still not back. I was getting worried at that point because they never stayed in the woods after dark. Shortly I heard the sound of the horses running to the barn and their voices. I was relieved. They looked troubled when they came into the house but didn't say a thing. Probably not to spook me. At dinner my dad laid down the law that I was no longer allowed to play outside or go to the barns alone. I had to have my grandfather with me at all times, and of course I was upset by this and felt my independence was being taken, but I obeyed. The next morning my dad and grandfather taught me how to shoot. I knew it was serious. I had overheard the adults talking the next night. Apparently there were tracks where my uncle had his sighting bigger than any wolf could make, but they were definitely dog tracks. As I said before, we were avid outdoorsmen and hunters, and we can identify tracks easily, but these could not be identified. About 8 feet up into a tree were claw marks. No Michigan bear makes those. We also found claw marks of about the same height on multiple trees throughout our property. There were cattle mutilations, and not in a way a coyote or a bear would do, and it lasted the entire winter. We lost 30 to 40 cattle that winter, all of them mutilated, all with the same wolf/dog tracks in the snow. I really felt like this experience changed my uncle. Who knows, he did multiple tours in the Middle East for Desert Storm and OIF, Operation Iraqi Freedom, before he committed suicide. After that experience, though, he was never the same. He went from not drinking to never seeing him without a bottle of Jack, and his eyes were always haunted. He changed his personality and never went into the woods again. He quit hunting, and he eventually just quit coming home to visit on leave. He didn't even come home for my dad's funeral 2 years later. It was heartbreaking to see him deteriorate the way he did. I truly believe he saw something out there, and it ultimately killed him. Tonight's second encounter. My friends and I saw some sort of dog-like creature in eastern Iowa. We were exploring this old house out in the country after dark, just looking around with maybe some mild vandalism. Well, we had checked out upstairs and most of the downstairs when I saw a door that we hadn't been through yet. I grabbed the door handle and suddenly had the feeling of dread come over me. I slowly pushed the door open and noticed that the room was slightly lit up with a dim red light that had no discernible source. I got the door probably halfway open and heard an incredibly deep growl and saw the upper end of this dog-like creature, probably around the size of a huge German shepherd. Its teeth protruded past its upper and lower lips, rather significant amount, and its stance was super hostile. The thing that really scared me, though, was its eyes. They were glowing red like embers from hell. I noticed there was blood and viscera all over everything, chunks of flesh and organ all over the floor, streaks of blood on the walls, and the smell was overpowering. I slammed the door and hightailed it out of there. Here's the part where I am an idiot. I went back the next day at around noon. I had a huge knife with me when I went back to that door and slowly grabbed the handle, but felt none of the dread from the night before. I pushed the door open, and I kid you not, this perfectly square, windowless room was literally covered in blood and fur. I could see what looked like 3 separate mutilated dog corpses. They were all torn apart and shredded. I nearly threw up, shut the door, and left. I never went back there again, and I never will, especially at night. Tonight's final encounter. I was hiking in the Cascades in Oregon. I was in a more remote part of the range. On the 6th or 7th day, the hair on the back of my neck was standing straight up. I chalked it up to maybe there being a mountain lion in the area. Weird thing is, that feeling never went away. That night is when I heard howling, and it was not wolves or bears or any other animal I had ever heard. Closest thing I can relate it to is if hell opened up. This persisted for the next few nights, and eventually things started rummaging through my campsite. Naturally, I assumed it was bears or raccoons. Then, on the 11th day, I woke up to my food bag being removed from the tree. Something had ripped through the line and all of my food was gone, and I decided to keep pushing. I had 4 days left till the end of that trail. I'm familiar with what I can and cannot eat in the area, and I could always fish for food. The same nightly activities occurred, and on the 13th night something started throwing things at my tent. For some reason I lost it. I screamed into the darkness for whatever it was to leave me alone, hoping it was just some person messing with me, or maybe they'd scream out, "Sorry, mate," or something. Instead, it grew quiet for the first time. Nothing could be heard. Then a scream louder and more vicious than any other night cut through the air. Then nothing, complete and utter silence, despite it being quiet. I was not able to sleep that night. I just waited. The next day I continued my hike, dead tired, just wanting to get out. The hair on the back of my neck still standing, the forest quiet. I felt like I was being hunted. Toward the end of the day, I had sat down for a rest before pushing a few more miles when I saw it. Something tall and large, bigger than any man or animal I'd ever seen, sliding through the forest, not even making a sound. I yelled at it, and it turned and looked at me. I never got a good look at it. Through the trees and brush, it was dark, but I knew whatever it was causing this. I threw a rock at it, and then I pulled my knife. This thing just stared at me. I don't know what kicked in, but I no longer felt scared. I was angry and tired of this thing messing with me. I quickly moved towards it, and it turned and bolted into the forest. I thought about following it, but its long strides would have easily outpaced me. I backtracked my way back to my backpack in the resting area. I was exhausted, made camp there, and another night of silence. I woke up the next day and had about 10 miles until I was out. Exhausted, hungry, mentally drained, I made my way out. As I got closer and closer to the end of the trail, the typical forest noises returned. Birds, bugs, mice running through the undergrowth. All these noises slowly returned. I no longer had the feeling of unease. I got to the trail's end, sat in my car, and broke down. I was never a believer in creatures, but that thing was not a person. I told the park ranger about it, and he jokingly said we got a bunch of those things in the area. But most likely it was a local messing with me, or my own imagination. I do a lot of long hikes, but that 15 days was by far my worst. Well, that's it for today's upload, and I really hope you all enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed sharing it with you. I really want to thank everyone. Your support truly means the world to me. Also, I've talked about it for the last couple of weeks, and I think Monday or Tuesday I will unveil the new logo of the channel. So, with that, my friends, once again, thank you. May the Great Spirit watch over us all. May He guide us down that path that we call life. Stay safe, everyone.